I went to the wrong industry that I did not enjoy for 14 years. My real passion was going on rare airplanes, the world's only private 787 Dreamliner. That video now has 70 million views. From that moment, I decided I need to leave my day job.
My name is Kolin Jones, and I'm the CEO of Amalfi Jets. Welcome to Above the Noise. Last season, I shared my story. Now, I'm back as host, sitting down with high performers, industry innovators, and outright game changers. Today's guest spends more of their life in the air than most people on the planet. He's one of the world's most recognized aviation creators, with millions of followers across YouTube and other social platforms, and a collection of aircraft and aviation memories that almost no one else can match. He calls himself a citizen of the sky, and after hearing his story today, you'll understand why. Sam Chui, welcome to Above the Noise.
Thanks for having me here, Colin.
I mean, you've really pioneered, I would say, a lot of the aviation behind the scenes. What got you into that? How did that start? So many people watching this will recognize you.
All I want to do is sharing my aviation experiences. I started way before the videos. I started with my blog, and I started sharing pictures, trip reports when I go on rare aircraft or luxury airplanes. And later on, when social media comes and smartphone comes, I started to share videos. So I was one of the early movers in social media platforms. What motivates me is the people who love aviation. They continue to encourage me to do so. And each time when I fly something, I want to go deeper and deeper. And then so I now want to go behind the scenes in the operations, go into the cockpit to see how the pilots fly, go during the turnaround to see how a plane's turning around and doing all sort of things. And also behind the scenes, how they create airplanes, how they build airplanes. Yeah. So there's so much things in the aviation industry to document, to content.
When did this start? Like, when was your first video posted?
Wow. My very first video was also by accident in 2007 when I flew the very first World A380 of Singapore Airlines.
Wow.
And
was Singapore Airlines the launch customer of the A380?
That's right. Yeah. Singapore Airlines was the launch customer. And I flew on the inaugural flight from Sydney, Australia to Singapore.
Wow. And
they serve a beautiful dessert, come with a dry ice. So it's all very, smoky. And then I just by accident, I taped a video in not so good camera at that time. And I uploaded to YouTube. It's 1 minute long.
What was the flight number? I feel like you definitely know the flight number.
I remember the flight number. It's SQ380.
Wow, that makes sense. Airbus A380, okay.
Of course. And I uploaded that on YouTube channel by accident. And after only 8 or 9 years later, I started upload regularly. So I had one video sit on YouTube and dormant for almost 8 or 9 years.
I need to go find this video.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was your first video. You posted it. And what was the intent of, hey, this is awesome, I want to share it? Or, you know what, maybe I'm going to, get people to fly Singapore Airlines. What was like the original goal of just, I want to put this out on the internet?
I guess it's more like you said, I want to get it out on the internet and share it. There was no really intentions on anything. YouTube was new.
Yeah.
And I opened a YouTube channel and I put one video out there to see what it's like. And I actually forgot about it. And then not until 8 years later,
wow,
I started to regularly put my video and saw, oh my God, I have this first video, but let's just leave it there.
Yeah.
It looks so bad right now compared to all the video. There was no storyboarding. There's no, nothing. There's no talking, not my face in it, just seeing a dessert.
Just the ice cream with the dry ice on board. Okay. Now, were you at least flying business on this inaugural flight or were you in economy?
That was actually a first class suite. Wow. I have to go on eBay to bid on it because
wow,
on that inaugural A380 flight, they want to donate this for a good cause.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were auctioning on eBay. So I happened to bid on the very last first class suite ticket.
Wow.
And I paid it around $3,800, I remember. And I paid it the lowest. There's some people paying up to $20,000 for that ticket. So I launched my bid 1 second before the auction closed.
Oh, that's
cool.
And
the next second I refreshed the screen. I was so surprised I won, and I could not sleep that night.
So $3,800 for this ticket, which is 3800.
Yeah.
Singapore Airlines flight 380 on an Airbus A380. That's fate at this point. So you posted the first video. 8 years, you said 8 years later, then you were like, oh, I'm going to post again and get into vlogging. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I still have this video up.
Well, you know what? 8 years later, I started putting another video. That was also by chance. I've flown on a very special airplane. It's called Lockheed Constellation.
Yeah.
Very rare yesteryear airplane. There's fire coming out during takeoff.
That's the same one that's at the T-Day Hotel in New York.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So there's fire coming out of the engine on takeoff, and that's considered regular. If you don't see fire, there's a problem. If you see the fire, that's a regular
That was
takeoff.
like a radial engine, right? So you needed fire to kind of start it on the propellers,
Yeah,
right?
I knew nothing about it, but I taped it from the windows, and I thought this was cool. There's fire coming out. Let me upload that to YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's my second video.
You grew up where?
I grew up in Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
So I'm from China and Hong Kong, and I grew up in Sydney, Australia. And
That's a lot of different accents.
that's right. I have a mixture of accent,
Yeah.
right? And funny is, when I'm with different people, my accent switch a little bit as well.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, it's like, you know, and I enjoy this because of maybe aviation get me to places, and I also enjoy different accent. So I studied business in university, and just like most of the folks, I got a day job in the banking world. For 14 years, I've been working in the banking and finance world.
Wow.
And it pays me all right. It pays all my flights and travel because I work during Monday to Friday. I travel maybe Saturday and Sunday or during my vacation days. But the problem is I never felt fulfilled. I never felt satisfied. And then one day I started to say, I enjoy travel a lot, but I dread on Monday morning go to work. And most of the time on my desk, when I have free moment, I start to think, where should I go the next day? Where should I go the next trip?
Yeah.
So I felt like I was not living a fulfilled life, and I could not align my real passion with my job, which ideally I would love to align my passion and my job, right?
Yeah.
All of this has changed in the last 2 years of my day job, and I started to have more chance of traveling. The social media world has arrived. I started an Instagram account. The next day, I have about 7,600 followers. I still remember. I was like, "Wow, look at that number!" And I got really
People
motivated.
like to follow along in the luxury travel lifestyle. It's fun to follow along. It's fun to see it. It's fun to experience it. So banking, that was your first job that paid. I just learned something on this podcast. I had no idea. So banking paid for the weekend trips, and then you decided to post it on YouTube. How did you decide to just post on YouTube?
So when I was working in the banking, on the weekend, I started to go out and to go on rare flights because my real passion was going on rare airplanes. In the older days, we get a chance to fly on Boeing 727, Boeing 747 SP, in a private aviation like Gulfstream G4. So there was lots of rare planes. And I started just to sometimes clicking photos, sometimes taking videos. And slowly I started just to putting out one by one on YouTube channel. And I saw that people appreciate what I've done. And there's actually a massive number of views coming in.
Well, yeah, I mean, flying on it for all the aviation people, flying on a G2, G3, impossible. Flying on a 727, I don't think people operate those anymore unless it's like a cargo operation. 707s, like no, but you have to go to the Ronald Reagan Library to see a Boeing 707. So to see that, I mean, that captivates the aviation people because that was like the beginning of the jet age kind of airplanes. So your weekend trips were these trips. You wanted to share it. You posted. What was it like to go from no views to a bunch of views to a lot of followers? Like how did it make you feel?
My real motivation was always sharing and chasing rare airplanes first. Once you chase them, you took some video because it was cool. You want to keep your experiences in videos, and then later you upload to YouTube and all that. And I found out the luxury experience always top. And people really want to know what it's like to fly the top first class or travel privately, what it's like. So these videos have massive views. I remember during the Dubai Air Show, I went inside the world's only private 787 Dreamliner at that time.
Wow.
And little did I know, that video now has 70 million views.
Damn, 70 million. That's a
It was a very
population of
poor
countries.
production, to be honest. It was a one-man show.
Don't say that. It's your most viewed video.
I took my little handheld camera inside, and I just walk around and show everybody what it's like. I lay on the bed one time. I use the toilet, and I check out whether the water runs in the shower. And the most impressive thing was the electric blind. It opens up the whole plane when you hit the switch.
That makes sense. It's the Dreamliner, so you have like the different. It's like the different filters that the flight attendants and stuff control.
Right, and this one has its own like kind of a quick switch blind, so you can turn on the blind, turn off the blind.
Like your typical Gulfstream, they all come up and down.
Exactly
That's
right.
Cool.
So I play that, and so it felt wow. This whole cabin is like. How wide the 787 fuselage all the way from the middle to the rear. It's like one giant hall. So it's not like any conventional plane you have seen. So this video did particularly well. and became the cornerstone of my YouTube channel.
Wow.
And from that moment, I decided there's a motivation here. I need to leave my day job. And because there are so much opportunities in the world here in aviation, if I don't do it now, I may regret.
How has connectivity played a role in your full-time job now and in spreading the word of aviation to kids that are learning about aviation, to aviation geeks like myself that spend half the day of actually working, but then also just watching aviation-related content?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when connectivity first came, it wasn't very reliable, it wasn't very fast, and it could also cost a lot. So at that time, I was one of the person against connectivity. I was saying I would prefer to be disconnected on the flight, just to be truly relaxed, enjoy all the food.
So that was the original goal.
Yeah.
Use it as a way to decompress, step away from the world below, just enjoy the onboard food, the fancy ice cream, the dry ice.
Exactly, and I did that. I think that was around more than 10 years ago, around 2015, 2016. I survived it pretty well without internet for a 10-hour, 12-hour flight. But after landing, that was a struggle.
Yeah, opening up, airplane mode off, all the notifications. Hey, I needed your response on this 2
all
hours ago.
the ding, 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 ding sound will come. And you have
It's
so
very
many
like,
unread messages.
It gives you like anxiety waiting for what's going to happen.
You nailed it.
There's been such a shift where before you hop on a flight, door would close, your airplane would get pressurized, boom, you're disconnected from the world. You'd land, you'd have all these anxious messages. Now you're staying connected the entire flight. Like the text of taking off, I love you is gone. It's now taking off, we'll speak to you. And when we're at 10,000 feet, you're at 10,000 feet. Hey, what's up again? And you continue your conversation. How has that changed your travel style?
Well, now the anxiety is the other way around, right? Now, if we don't get connected on the flight, during the flight for 10 hours, I'll get super anxious, And now the connectivity helps my work, the productivity, and I don't have the anxiety during landing anymore, and because all the messages will be read, all the emails will be up to date, so I knew exactly where I'm heading. And the craziest story I had on the connectivity is I even closed a deal and bought a house using the in-flight Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow.
A flight from Australia to Singapore. And this house has so many people want to get hold of it. And so I have to be quick to tell the dealer, to tell the broker that this is the price I want to put in. And then the broker is very fast coming back. You only got two choices. You choose A or B quickly, otherwise we'll lose it. So without internet, you wouldn't be able to do so. So I was so fortunate to have that connected and then bought the dream house.
Wow, that's amazing. And the house is in Sydney?
The house is in Dubai.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The one, I think, shift that we've seen, tying this back to private aviation of like it was common on different aircraft where you step on board, you get to 10,000 feet, Wi-Fi would turn on. It'd work for 10 minutes. So the amount of deals I would create in the first 10 minutes, hey, I have an airplane that's available with Amalfi Jets. Here's what we can do. Wi-Fi would go out. Client's like, great, I'm ready to book. Send me the contract. And I'm looking at this text, not being able to send the contract because the Wi-Fi was inconsistent. How has consistency allowed you to be more effective and more connected when you travel?
Oh, that's also very important. People want to have fast and reliable Wi-Fi. I ran a survey a couple years ago, and I've got overwhelming response. The survey is about passenger experience. So people talk about rating about their in-flight experience, such as the seat, the food, the IFE, and the Wi-Fi. And guess which area people care about the most?
Probably the Wi-Fi to be connected.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's the Wi-Fi. I was surprised. I was thinking it's probably about the seats because people care about
the
width.
I would want the seat,
seats,
the blanket, the ice cream, the champagne. All that's important. But no, the Wi-Fi, people want to be connected. That's shifted. Now I have a question. When you fly on these different trips, you're getting the most luxurious experience. You're trying these new airplanes. Is that every flight? Is there ever a flight you fly on where you just like don't film, where you just actually enjoy the flight, or you always have a camera and you're always filming?
Oh, that's a great question. No, in fact, I only film about 1/10 of all the flights I've done, because 9/10 of the flights are regular domestic flights or flights that are uneventful. There's no story you can create out of those, and I chase for the special flights. That's why I wouldn't create something that on your way to get to the special flight. Wait until you get on that special flight, then you start getting the camera out.
I was telling you, there's a photo of me watching your videos from my dorm at Embry-Riddle. Every single aviation geek has seen a Sam Chui video. What is your mission? Has your mission changed from I want to share my in-flight experience to you're inspiring the next generation of pilots?
Well, first of all, I'm very humbled to hear that you watched my video when you're at Embry-Riddle.
100%.
And also I'm very humbled to be here in your office to see how much you have grown, Colin.
Thank you.
To see how you developed it yourself, and you're only 25 years old. You have this whole beautiful brokerage company here. At the beginning days, I didn't really have much of a goal. I felt like it was just cool to share, right? You don't have a lot of intention really. But when you've gone deeper and deeper and you realize you are actually on a mission. Maybe my mission is a storyteller of aviation.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy sharing my stories, and I enjoy to help the future generation to choose a career wisely, choose a lifestyle that they truly want. Whether it's becoming a pilot or becoming an engineer or becoming something in the aviation industry, I need to gain exposure, give exposure about this industry, and let them be informed to make the best decision for their career.
Yeah.
I think this is very important because myself is an example that I went to the wrong industry that I did not enjoy for 14 years. And after that, I corrected myself. And now I felt like every day I have something new to do. Mm-hmm. And I want my fellow viewers and all the people who are growing up in the colleges to make that right choice.
Mm-hmm. That's really inspiring. You were in banking, posted this video, you saw the power of it, and that's, came into sharing your story, but also impacting where people will spend their careers, impacting what buying decisions people have. Are there some moments that stand out to you as like, wow, that was really impactful, or like these out of body moments where it's like, wow, like I made it, I inspired people?
I just want to stay humble, but I have to tell you this, Colin, the best thing in my life is people come to you and recognize who you are and say, Sam, because of your video that I'm in aviation. And that's the best satisfaction I ever got. I don't need to count how much money I made or this and that, how much follower you have. That's not irrelevant. The best outcome of what I've done is to have people that got inspired and truly enjoy and getting into the right industry, and they enjoy every minute of it.
What is your most proudest content that you put out? Like a video that if you had to delete everything that would represent you, that you were the most proud of?
The biggest views of those videos, 70 million views, the luxury, the top first class, top private jets, are not my favorite. They're very cool, but I have to say my favorites are those that is completely based on the experience. Recently, I visited South Sudan, which is the world's poorest country. And I was with the UN. I went inside the UN to see their aviation lifeline, how they use aviation as a transport tool to save lives, to bring food,
That's really
to
impactful.
airdrop to areas that is impacted by the flood, that no road can reach. No road, no river, no boats. Aviation airdrop is the most expensive form of delivery. But for the humanity purpose, when you go on a project, when you go on a trip to see it firsthand yourself, you feel it. Mm-hmm. You feel it. And this is some project, maybe not in everybody's cup of tea, but I truly think these are the best project I've done. Wow. The other one is the Flying Eye Hospital with Orbis. So I follow with them on a trip to Ghana.
Wow.
And the whole airplane is a operation theater. And they bring in patients, come on board when they land in Ghana to do their cataract, to let them regain their eyesight. The moment they remove the bandage on their eyes, the first thing that patient saw and that incredible, beautiful smile on their face, that is priceless.
Wow.
That is a combination of humanity and aviation. Mm-hmm. That's the best combo.
That's beautiful. How does that help people look at that, get inspired, inspire them to be involved?
I think it propels you further to respect aviation, because the more deeper the content, the depth are, and the people encourage you and motivate you further. Look through all the comments, people, what they wrote, and that's very important. Listen to all your followers and found the best thing that you could deliver. Mm-hmm. And of course, you also have to stay true to yourself as well. You don't get sold out on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's very important, to listen to all the voices and come up with something. It's getting harder and harder because, the details, the depth we want now is pushing the envelope, because in the past, it's just go on a flight from A to B and get it done in 10 hours when the flight lands.
Yeah.
But now it's taking weeks and days just to get the content out, because you've go on a trip, you go to a dangerous trip, you follow that without any known reasons, but but then the satisfaction is immense.
Everyone has a favorite airplane. What is your favorite plane?
Without a doubt, 747.
So you've got your private pilot license, and you got that here in Los Angeles, right?
That's right.
Where did you fly out of?
So I've got it in the South Bay area in Torrance with Sling Flying Club.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And it was flying a sling, got your private. Now I know you're working on your instrument, right? Multi. And then the goal is to fly what airplane in the future?
Well, you guessed it right. It's a 747.
Okay.
So, and this is an interesting thing. I haven't talked about this a long time, but I realized social media helped me to develop myself as well. So in the old days, you would see me sitting in the first class seats or sitting in somewhere in the back seats of the passenger, talking about a passenger experience, reviewing flight. But the more chance I got now to go into the cockpit, the more I became more comfortable, the more I became curious about the flight ops, watching the captain lifting up a 390-ton of 747, watching them how they deal with problems, troubleshooting during the flight, or whether it's dialing the autopilots or whether it's configuring the landings. I became very interested in all the details. So I felt like by creating content, that actually made me to appreciate this industry and wanting to learn more. I don't want to be a career pilot, because I'm too late. I'm 45-year-old right now. And it's not too late, I would say, but I want to have a full deck of round of experience in aviation. And my curiosity and my ambition doesn't stop there. I want to go as far as I can to see how far I can go, whether I can get my instrument nailed, whether I can get my commercial license and multi-engine. Then I can get hired by an airline, probably flying 747 cargo.
Yeah.
But I also want to enter management. It doesn't stop there. I think I have a long way to go.
Being a pilot, filming these videos, being in the cockpit, how has that changed your view of flying? Has it changed at all? Like, are you a backseat pilot? Like, I'm the worst backseat pilot ever.
Well, I always love to observe how can you be a better pilot, right? And I noticed that you need to stay calm and you need to figure ahead. You become a better planner. You need to stay cool to anticipate things. And also when things don't work out, at least you know what to deal with it instead of panicking. So I tell you, many years ago, I never felt I'm capable to fly a plane myself. It is not until 2020 when COVID locks down the whole world, I had more time on my hand, I couldn't travel around the world. I went to Sling Pilot Academy in Torrance to start getting my PPL.
How was that, having the social media presence, inspiring people to take flight of your airplane for the first time? I imagine that must have been life-changing. Yeah,
in fact, it really got me pushing my own envelopes to say that, okay, I'm going to try to see if I'm good enough to be a pilot. And now, sitting here 5 years later, I want to go pushing myself again to see if I can become instrument and getting commercial pilot license and go further. Eventually, before all the 747 retire, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you see me on the right seat.
When it comes to flying private, are you editing vlogs? Are you coming up with new story ideas? Are you researching new trips when you travel? Like, what does your typical travel look like?
It's very event-driven, I have to say. So event-driven means there's air shows, there are conferences, there's some things happening, there's a plane retiring in April you go to. So it's very much flexible. I become a floater around the world, just like every aviator does. And then you go to, although there's some targets, you want to fly on the world's last DC-8.
Yeah.
You knock on the company door, you research, you use your contact around the world to fly on rare airplanes. So it's a bit of combination of event and also look at the rareness of the event or the aviation opportunities there.
Is there a favorite private jet you've flown on?
Wow. I've flown on the Dassault Falcon, the
Nice.
6X recently. And
Nice new
will
airplane.
go to France next month to see the launch of the 10X.
Nice.
And however, I would say my all-time high was flying on two ex-head of state, 747.
Oh,
Yeah.
hard to beat that. 747 SPs, I take?
Yeah, so one of them is a ex-Qatari royal family 747 SP, and the other one was the ex-UAE government 747-400.
Wow.
Which is all luxury, of
Amazing.
course. But it's
Did
also,
you use all the amenities like the bed, the shower, the whole nine on board?
it's so weird that the plane is so large. You felt like you're that little kid in that whole large plane. you're truly, mesmerized and overwhelmed. You don't know what to do because you don't get to fly that every day. You only have one shot.
I mean, there's not a lot of 747s flying, and especially VIP configured ones.
Kolin, do you believe one day business aviation will have something supersonic?
I think so. I think that the reason people fly private is to buy their time back. And I think with the technological advances that we're making, there's a need to connect the world. I mean, you have the days of the Concorde. The Concorde was expensive. Part of why it failed is it just wasn't economical. But when you're flying private, depending on the type of business you own or the needs there, like a lot of people say, how much does a private jet cost? And realistically, I always say it depends. Sure, it may cost $100,000, $50,000, but if you are closing a multi-billion-dollar deal, it's priceless. If you are being there for your daughter's birthday, if you're being there for your wife's, anniversary, how are you going to put a price on that? And that is priceless. And I think with the technological advances that we're making, whether it's a supersonic, whether it's a hypersonic, the future is there. And I think humanity, and I mean, if you look at aviation in the past 100 years, I mean, the Wright brothers took their first flight just over 100 years ago. So look, 50, 100 years in the future? Oh, are you kidding me? We're gonna have the craziest airplanes.
And you mentioned you mentioned about personal events, and I shared it with all of you in my wedding video.
Yeah, so this is probably the craziest experience you've had on board a chartered flight, right? Walk me through that.
I was able to charter a Boeing 747.
Wow.
Which is my favorite airplane, and also my wife's first airplane to be trained. She was a cabin crew, and the first airplane she got trained was a 747.
Wow.
And we knew the owner, and the owner is very up for it and saying, Sam, I could not be happier to have you.
So are you the only person in the world to get married on board a Boeing 747?
Well, I would love to think so. I didn't get any Guinness record, but
okay. Well, we're giving you one right now. I think it's probably the coolest wedding I've ever seen.
Much. Thank you. And I should invite you, and maybe we should do it on another anniversary.
Oh, absolutely.
We should charter again and get everybody, more people. Honestly, after my wedding, it was so fun. It was so happy. But we have only 60 private friends and relatives and families. I felt like next time I want to charter another big airplane to bring a lot of people that hasn't got a chance to fly private. They should come on board.
People that are listening to this, watching this, listening to this, what is the biggest thing that you want them to walk away with?
Stay true to yourself and follow your passion. See where that leads you. When you stay true to yourself, it'll open all the doors one by one. Maybe you hit some stumble block and some challenge, one baby step at a time, to continue to pursue what you truly enjoy.
Sam, I want to thank you for joining me on Above the Noise. It was great chatting with you. I think that you should be so proud of the impact that you've had on this industry as a whole, the people that you've inspired, and the stories that you've told.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this very much.
And to our audience, thank you for being here. Sam, it was so inspiring to hear your story and how your storytelling has changed the industry. It was also a pleasure to chat with Stephanie, a multi-talented executive coach and charter pilot, and a pleasure to chat with Eddie, a titan of global sports promotion. Watch all episodes of Above the Noise, now streaming across all major streaming services. I'm Kolin Jones, and this is Above the Noise.